Hello and welcome everyone to Thinking Skills Selective Preparation Test 49. So today we have some selected questions and I will be going through those questions which were a little trickier or a bit interesting so that we can see the actual solutions and get a real grasp and hold of how to solve those problems. So let's begin. First question, subject of discussion. We are going to read the dialogue and answer the question. So Emily, I'm going to use a highlighter. Emily says, reading physical books allows us to expand our vocabulary and comprehension skills. Even more worthwhile, it does not have any health detriments as opposed to looking at screens. So she's obviously in favor of looking at physical books. Henry says, you are wrong. Reading physical books for comprehension and vocabulary is what matters the most. Since children are reading less, the literary rates have dropped in Australia. So what do they disagree on? Henry and Emily disagree on reading whether physical books are what. What is he saying that Emily is wrong about? He's saying that comprehension and vocab is what matters most. Okay? Not what she said. Even more worthwhile, does not have any health detriments. That's what Emily is saying. So C is the answer. Okay? They are basically debating if this vocab and comprehension skills is the most valuable benefit or not. So read the solutions if you'd like to know why A, B, and D are incorrect. Oops. Number 2, 6 stations between Andy and the school station. I'm going to draw this up. We have Andy station here and we have the school station. Okay, we have 6 in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, it takes 4 minutes from the train to go from one station to the next with a 30-second stop at each station. So first of all, let's look at the stops. Okay, the stops. How many stops are at each station? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Obviously, at that last one at school, Andy's going to get off. Okay, so we won't need that stop. So that's 6 times 30 seconds. I'm going to write that as half a minute. Okay, so it's easier for us, which is 3 minutes in total. Now looking at the time. How many gaps are there between? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 gaps, okay? So for the total time taken is 7 times 4 minutes for each gap, which is 28 minutes. Hopefully that makes sense why it's 7, not 6, okay? Because that last one, we need to get to school. 3 plus 28 is 31, which is why the answer is B. Number 3, consider the following pattern and let's see what comes next in the series. First of all, the pattern is going white, black, okay? But that doesn't really help us because they're all black. Now let's look at the inner shape. There's something interesting going on. How many sides does it have? We have 1. Oops, not 1. 3, 5, 7. We want a 9-sided shape. Okay, I'm not going to attempt to draw it, but let's investigate how many each of these have. A, surprisingly, has 8. It looks like a 9-sided shape, but it's an 8-sided shape. B has 9, C has 9, and D has 11. So from what we have decided, A and D are out already. Now between B and C, what is different? It's the direction of the outside shape. Okay, I know this is arbitrary, but I'm just showing you the direction of that top point. Okay, if you look at our one, the top shape goes down, up, down. So we want it to be pointing upwards. Okay, which is why C is the answer. The bottom is going down, down, down each time. So the final one, we want the little shapes to go up, down. Okay, that's why C is the answer. You can look at the solutions for more information. Number 4, finding correct reasoning. Julia says, I like email because you can send a message here to many people at once. The reasoning is that you can send it to many people at once. Hannah says, I like texting because you can make groups with multiple friends, many people, and all see and send the same texts, same set of messages. So if Julia and Hannah had both write letters, i.e. hard copies that you have to write by hand one at a time, they would what? I think they would dislike it because their whole reasoning for liking these other forms of communication is that multiple people can be sent at once. So that's why B is the best answer. They will both dislike the format because they cannot send one message to multiple people at once, which is what they like. Number 5. So there was quite a long text here. What conclusion do you think the author would agree with? So the main kind of gist of this argument, or this paragraph, is this idea of not harming their patients, right? And it's pretty much summarized here. Even so, in reality, the principle of first do no harm might be less harmful and less practical than you think. Okay? Doctors should help their parents as much as they can by recommending tests and stuff. And this interpretation of first do no harm is not as helpful as we think. So let's go through the conclusions. A says, doctors should never harm their patients at all in the practice of medicine. So this is incorrect. Okay, we have even a specific example about drawing blood. And it's obviously there's the pain, the bruising, and the bleeding, but we are required to draw them for even further studies that are more important. B, physicians should obey the rule of first do no harm except in cases when patients require surgery. So this is also incorrect. We know that in this last paragraph, we know that they said that we should recommend tests and treatments for which the potential benefits outweigh the risks of harm. That is the main idea. So B is out. C, the principle of first do no harm has been misinterpreted by some people over time. Now C is true, okay? Because we know that in reality that this principle is less helpful and less practical than people think. And D is again not the correct one because of this reasoning. It's not highly helpful and practical because it's less than we thought. You can read the solutions on that side if you'd like. Number 6, so we have a box and we have blocks and we have to fit these in. Each round we win. The volume of the box shrinks by 10 and the volume of the blocks, tongue twister, increases. So we're going to draw a quick table. We have the box dimensions and the blocks dimensions. Round 1, round 2, round 3. Okay? So, looking at the dimensions, the box 3 times 5 times 2, 15 by 2, which is 30 meters cubed. What about the blocks? We want to change this into meters, so it's in the same area, okay? So that's 0.5 by 2 by 1.5, right? 2 times 1.5 is 3. 3 times half is 1.5 cubic meters. You can see that this will fit 20 times, but that's not what we are interested in yet. We want to get to round 3. So each round, what happens? Box shrinks by 10, blocks increase by 200. So blocks double each time. Let's get another color. So it's going to be 3 meters cubed and it's going to be 6 meters cubed, double, right? Now the box shrinks by 10%. 10% of 30 is 3, so you get 27 cubic meters. Okay, so continuing on, we have the shrinking again in round 3, and we should get 21.6. So now looking at these two numbers, we're going to compare them. How many times does 6 go into 21.6? it's not going to be 4. Okay, you can't round up because there's a limited amount of space. So it's going to be 3.5 can fit in. Is 3 times 6 is 18 plus 3 is 21. So 3.5 makes the answer A. Number 7, correlation is a relationship of a pattern between two variables. Causation means that one event causes another. The first diagnosable signs of autism appear at the same time most children receive their measles vaccine. Therefore, vaccines cause autism. So they have here basically assumed that there is a causative relationship, that vaccines cause autism simply due to the coincidence that the signs of autism first appear when the measles is vaccinated, okay, or vaccinated with measles vaccine. Obviously, there is no additional information supporting this causation relationship, so that's why it is not an example of causation, only correlation. Okay, correlation means there is a simple link. There is some kind of link there, but it's not saying that one causes the other. So that's why the answer is A. Number 8, evaluating reasoning. So Grace Point, there's 80% of road accidents that are caused by drivers who had less than 2 years of experience. This summer, there was a road accident involving an inexperienced driver. Kent makes the assumption that the driver is more likely to be a young because they have less experience. Which statement is most correct? First one says all inexperienced drivers are young. That's not true. Age doesn't have much to do with experience. You could be old and still not have experience if you don't have your license. B, young drivers are more likely to be inexperienced. Now, this might be true if you use your general knowledge, okay? However, there's nothing in our text supporting this, so B is also not the best answer. C, we do not know how many of the 80% of drivers were young or how many were old. C is the best one, okay? We know that 80% of road accidents have less than 2 years of experience, drivers who cause them. But we don't know their age. Kent has made an assumption that the drivers are more likely to be young just because they have less experience. So C is the answer here. Alright, number 9. We have 4 people going to Luna Park. They get a drink and a ride each, and they tell us the name of the drinks and the rides available. So we don't really care about the rides here because we want to know what drink Damien gets. We can set up a simple table that has drink and that's all the people in it. Okay, so we have Bass, Clara, Damien, and Eleanor. Bass gets the Fanta, so we can write F. Clara and Eleanor get the same drink. With the exception of the females, no one gets the same drink as each other. Only females drink cream soda, okay? So Clara gets cream soda and so does Eleanor. So we have cream soda out, and remember, with the exception of females, no one gets the same drink, so they can't get Fanta either. So Damien must have gotten the Coke. The answer is A. There's another table there and gives you the reason as well for more information. Some key points from this test. Okay, so for reasoning questions, okay, try and eliminate the unreasonable options, okay, or illogical options first, and narrow down your choices. Okay, that is the best way to go about those questions. For interval/gap questions, okay, remember if there are for example 6 stops in between, there are 7 stops in total. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. If there's 6 gaps in between, okay, then you have to count the first, there will be 8 stops in total. You have to count the first and the last one as well, okay? And also about the gaps. There's 7 gaps, there must be 8 stops, okay? Just be careful with those questions. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. And hopefully you learned something today. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next week.